So we got this idea for this exact trip that we were on maybe 4 years ago when we were in like 9th grade or 8th grade, because I have this record in my time capsule that I did in my freshman year where it's like, Tommy, if you get to this age where it's your senior summer, I want you to drop everything and go on this road trip that you always plan for. And by plan for, I don't remember when exactly it was, but I have this very clear mental image. It was the four of us, and we were sitting at the Oak Ridge Mall. We're in the food court, and it was after the movie. It was very late, and we're waiting for a ride to come because none of us could drive back then. And we just had this idea that senior summer we're going to drive north on 101 Highway 1 up the Pacific Coast to, where Oregon and California touch, and we're gonna hit the beaches and the lakes and the forests all around the area. And if that was the plan back then, I think I'm already done by like day 4, because Oregon is like right over there somewhere within reach. But I think another motivation for me is that I also read Catcher in the Rye around the same time. I read it once in 8th grade and once in 9th grade, and that coming of age theme just hit me very hard. There was one very particular scene. It was when Holden Caulfield asked Sally to do a spontaneous trip with him. They're going to move up to Massachusetts or Vermont and get a cabin and live off of his like $90 and chopping wood. And that hit me very hard because of what Holden said after Sally rejected him. He was like, I don't remember the exact quotes, but he said something along the lines of, if I don't do this now, I'll never do this again in my life. He's going to work an elevator job where he's carrying suitcases around all day and absolutely exhausted after he goes home and just turns on the TV and puts on the football or basketball game. And that was just so real to me, because Holden was about the same age as I am right now, 17, 18, and I can very realistically see that happening to myself, because if I think that if I don't go on this trip now, I'll never go on this trip again. This doesn't mean that I won't have another chance to drive up the Pacific Coast, or I won't have another chance to do these trips with my best friends, but it just won't have the same feeling and mindset and the spontaneity to it, and that's just how I felt about this trip. And that's why I'm incredibly grateful and out of words for how much I am appreciative and how much I am loving and enjoying this trip. And really, I think this place is the epitome of what I was trying to convey earlier. That when I'm standing here, I know the lighting is probably horrible. The light is coming at your face. I'm probably not in focus, but it looks like I'm standing somewhere fake. It looks like I have a green screen to my back, and I just have a stock photo of Smith Rock as my background, but I swear it isn't. And it's just magnificent and incredibly lucky that I can stand here and to read and to write and to think a little bit about my life. Okay, let's grab this camera so I'm hopefully in focus and doesn't look too crappy. Alright, I'm on my cool rock again, but you can't really see my background anymore. But I think Zach captured this perfectly yesterday, that even though we're on this trip with our friends and with a lot of other campers, we have a sense of solitude and quietness that we get to enjoy. Hey Zach, you're interrupting my video and I don't like it. I'm cutting you out of this.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
See, I climbed down. Isn't this cool? Yeah. Saying that he got this right, that there is a sense of solitude and quietness that we get to enjoy even in the midst of other people, and that's something that I just don't get to have very often. And I was realizing this yesterday, that it's probably the first time in a long time that I really get to enjoy myself and enjoy those surrounding me without the stress of, constantly having to do schoolwork, worry about chores, family, and other outside pressure like that. And it's really only a feeling that you can get out here in nature, and that's one of the reasons why that we chose this instead of going to more lavish places and not living tents and shower once every 3 to 4 days. But I swear I'm not that dirty. I showered yesterday. Yeah, it is just a magnificent view behind me, and it quite honestly doesn't get better than this. Okay, time to hike back, and I don't want to hurt myself. This is why I had to come down. Zach is up there, and I have to go through all of this loose rocks. Hopefully there's no rattlesnakes or anything scorpion disgusting like that. Whew. Okay, this is a little rough. So this place I'm filming at it's definitely not as glorious as the past two. I'm at a RV camp right behind me is Highway 84, and all night there were just truckers and cars blasting 80-90 miles per hour past us. It was quite noisy, but I think this experience, although probably not as fun, is just as valuable to us than seeing those beautiful rock faces and the coastal seas, because I forgot who said it. I think it's probably Zach, that we're gaining our own sense of independence on this trip as well, because on a whim yesterday, just in the car, we decided that we will go see a new state. We would drive to Idaho to avoid the forest fires coming down in Northern California, and we never really got to experience a sense of freedom and liberty in our previous lives. And I think it's an important step that we all have to take towards our adulthood that we're all so fastly approaching. And I think that's a really valuable experience, and it is truly humbling to be in an environment so different that you're used to, and gain a new perspective on what the world is like and what this country is composed of, and burst your own little bubble that you've been living in for so long. Okay, let's get out of here. The bugs are killing me. There's a pond right behind me. I'm now in the middle of my run. I still need to get back home, but I'm on a rock and on a little trail that I found with a little bit of seclusion. And this is another part of these road trips that I love the most. It's that once I get to a place, I get to not only exploring my car, but also explore on foot on my runs, and that gives me even greater sense of liberty and independence, because I can go wherever I want, and as long as I know I still have some miles in these legs, I can get myself home, and that just feels incredibly empowering to me. And especially when I get to run in quite naturey places like this, I get a lot of quietness to myself to think and reflect and think about this trip, and to think about what I got out of it, and how I can plan something like this in the future to emulate this experience, or to even surpass this, which I don't think I can. It is honestly just an amazing time. Except for the bug bites. Oh my god, my leg is getting abused. I should get out of here. But of course, as this trip comes to an end, we're leaving tomorrow morning, I am definitely still the most appreciative of my friends who are willing to go on this trip with me, Avichai, Zach, and Alex. It is really special to be able to have this group of people who are willing to put up, camping for 8 days and sleeping in a not so great RV park and driving this many hours to obscure places just to see like a waterfall or to climb a big rock, right? I am very lucky to be able to have these group of people in my life and to be able to call them my best friends. And I think this is a great trip to, for me at least, I'm sure for the other three, to honor this friendship and to strengthen our bonds and connections, because who knows when's the next chance that we're gonna go on and do something like this again. And we are going to be quite a distance apart, and we'll at least have this piece of memory to look back upon, and that is incredibly valuable to me. And of course, who knows, maybe we'll do this journey again 10 years in the future. We're gonna hit all the same spots, even the crappy RV park in Idaho, and we will see how much has changed and how much hasn't. Thank you. The first shot's gotta be Zach.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of, when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
I was drawing that.
If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you.
Sorry, wait to the campsite.
How much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of, when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh,
Getting some ice cream at a local friend ice cream shop.
you'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, That's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. You can count
What are
on
we
me
watching,
'cause I
Avichai?
can count on you.